In July 1518, in the city of Strasbourg, something unexplainable began. A woman known as Frau Troffa stepped into the street and started dancing. At first, it seemed harmless, even strange. But she didn't stop. For hours, then days, she continued moving without rest. Witnesses described her as being in a trance, unable to control her body. Soon, others joined her. Not willingly, but as if something was pulling them into the same uncontrollable rhythm. Within a week, more than 30 people were dancing in the streets. By the end of the month, that number had grown to over 400. The city was in shock. There was no music, no celebration, only exhaustion, confusion, and fear. People danced until their feet bled. Some collapsed, only to rise again and continue. Others screamed for help, begging to stop, but their bodies wouldn't listen. Families watched helplessly as their loved ones slowly destroyed themselves. Authorities had no explanation. There was no known illness like this, no clear cause. But instead of stopping it, they made a decision that would make things even worse. As panic spread through Strasbourg, city officials turned to physicians for answers. Their conclusion was shocking: the dancers were suffering from overheated blood, and the only cure was to keep dancing. So instead of stopping the madness, authorities encouraged it. They built wooden stages, hired musicians, and even brought in professional dancers to help the victims dance it out. This decision turned a mysterious outbreak into a full-scale nightmare. The number of dancers increased rapidly. People who were already weak were forced to continue moving, pushing their bodies beyond their limits. Day and night, the streets echoed with the sound of collapsing bodies. Witnesses reported people fainting from exhaustion, suffering heart attacks, and in some cases, dying where they stood. The city had unknowingly created a deadly cycle. The more people danced, the more joined. And the more they joined, the more died. It wasn't entertainment. It wasn't celebration. It was a tragedy unfolding in real time, and no one knew how to stop it. More than 500 years later, the dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's greatest mysteries. What caused it? Some historians believe it was mass hysteria, triggered by extreme stress, famine, and disease. Others suggest ergot poisoning, a toxic mold found in contaminated grain that can cause hallucinations and convulsions. But no theory fully explains how hundreds of people could dance uncontrollably for days, even to the point of death. The event stands as a chilling reminder of how fragile the human mind and body can be under extreme conditions. It also reveals how fear and misunderstanding can turn a crisis into a catastrophe. What happened in Strasbourg wasn't just strange, it was deadly, real, and still unexplained. By August 1518, the situation had become catastrophic. Reports from the time describe dozens of deaths, though exact numbers remain uncertain. What is clear is that people were dying from exhaustion, strokes, and heart failure. The human body simply couldn't endure days of constant movement without rest. Muscles failed. Hearts gave out. And still, some continued dancing. Witnesses described horrifying scenes, bodies collapsing in the streets, others stepping over them, unable to stop their own movements. It was as if the entire city had fallen under a curse. Eventually, authorities realized their mistake. The music stopped. The stages were dismantled. Survivors were taken to a nearby shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus, believed to have the power to cure the afflicted. Slowly, the dancing began to fade. One by one, people stopped. But the damage had already been done. Lives were lost, families were shattered, and Strasbourg would never forget what happened that summer.